Did you think I was going to do the whole video with that mask on? That was just a shout out to Max and Atari Creep. Okay, so I'm back at it because I have more to talk about with the interview with Tommy. There's always more to talk about. Now a shout out for DJC. Oh, I forgot my wristbands. But I do have, no, not Tab, but Fago. Coke. It's not Tab, but it's still a shout out to you, DJC. So yeah. Plenty to talk about. Oh, another shout out. Raya. Or Raya. I think it's Raya, right? Or Raya. I heard Chris say it Raya, I think. I say Raya. I don't know. Let me know. A shout out to you is for the upright phone. I did the last video the way you said, and I just felt like, I mean, I'm still new at this, so this is just, you know, for fun. But I felt like my head was cut off and I couldn't get into the, I got to work on that. But anyway, shout out to you. Where do I begin? Now, where I wanted to begin was on No Swear Gamer, his video today, where he touched up on the interview with Tommy and the UK YouTuber, Extra Slow. What I wanted to say about No Swear Gamer, I love your content. I watch your channel. But when you came off with the box thing, which has been bothering me a lot. A lot of you have been talking about the cheap boxes. I don't have those games yet, so I don't know how flimsy they are that you guys speak of. They seem pretty sturdy to me. But when Tommy went over the fact that when the system's online and you tap the cards, the game will download. If you keep your system online, all the games that you tap and download will be playable without needing the card. But if you go offline, if your system's off, if your amico's offline, then you need to tap the card every time you play. So No Swear Gamer brought up a point that you'd have to take your boxed editions off the shelf to get the card, and it'd make a lot of wear on the boxes. There's so many more important things that I still need to bring up, and you people are worried about the boxes getting wear and falling apart. I don't know. I mean, you're not the only one, No Swear Gamer, that has said that. But I mean, here's a console everyone's excited. You know, most people are excited to get, including me. The last thing I'm worried about right now is the strength of the boxes. I mean, can't you just keep your cards separately and keep your boxes on the shelf and have the cards in a little pile near the system? I mean, what's the big deal? So getting back to my point about the boxed editions, you know, being physical. I like the way they called it. They said it's physical downloadable media or something like that. But getting back to that, if everyone wanted this to be physical media, so everyone wanted it to need a cartridge or an SD card like Switch. So then what's the big deal that you have to use the card when you're offline to tap Isn't that doesn't that make it kind of physical to you that you have to actually go into your box and get the card? And I mean, it's just like on Genesis going into your case to get the cartridge. So I mean, those are points that are. I mean, anyone can bring up points and opinions that they want. That's your, that's your call. But some of these things are so irrelevant compared to other things. I don't see that as a problem at all. When I get the boxed editions, I'll either keep them displayed on the shelf or on the shelf. And if need be, if I'm going to be offline a lot, I'll just keep the cards out. I mean, if you don't want to keep going into the box, just keep them out by the system. I mean, I don't see the big deal there. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much about that. But you get my point, right, about that? So no offense to you, No Game Swear. Every concern should be brought up, but I just don't see that as an important one. Individual amount. Okay, so now that was about the cards. And then also, Tommy mentioned, as far as how the cards are going to work, it's never been done. So I'm going to talk about... one thing that Extra Slope failed to ask, and this is why I said maybe they had a conversation before the interview on what not to ask, was he failed to ask about the availability of those 8-packs. Whether, I don't think he would answer, it'd probably be a I can't answer question, but how many are left? Could have been asked. How have they been selling? Besides, the ones we know on YouTube that have purchased them, and on Facebook and stuff. But just the situation of them overall. Like, are these gonna be, if these don't sell the first run, if all of a sudden they stop selling, are they gonna be sold individually? I would have asked that. And I think Tommy's always already addressed through messages on Facebook that's a no. But I don't know. If they're just sitting there and all the sold ones have gone out and now it's kind of slowed down and there's still half of them left. I don't see why at some point they wouldn't be available individually. But they will be available individually without the collector's edition on the box. I think that was answered. But anyway, that's just a small thing. Now the controllers and the cards. Now we spoke of this. I don't know. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm not, I don't know how to edit. I don't have special effects. I enjoy channels that do. But how come, like, a lot of big concerns aren't talked about? And I feel like I'm always the one that has to bring them up. Now this is a major one that I would have asked. And I don't know if this was... able to be asked, or is it not a problem to be answered, is the fact that the cards and the controllers, which is the most unique two things about the Amico, besides all the other stuff, the couch play, the multiple player, but that has to do with the controller a lot. Like, for instance, he mentioned in the Dolphin game, Tommy mentioned where 4 people could play, and all 4 people would be controlling a group of dolphins, a faster one, a stronger one, a smaller one to get in small places, stuff like that. So that sounded pretty cool to me, that you'll see on your controller the one that you control. Or if you're playing one player, I guess he said you can switch between the 4 and pick the one you need to do certain things. So that sounds very awesome and new, and that's something that we couldn't do because it didn't have a screen. So the multiplayer games, I understand now where the amico's taking a different approach on the multiplayer games. But here's my question. I don't know if, now on these cards, because I'm pretty sure that if these cards work out, the system, I mean, everyone's making it a big thing right now about how you can tap it when you go somewhere. How many people are actually going to go play it somewhere else? I mean, yeah, someone might have it and you might bring your games over. That's not going to be a lot of times, but I'm sure these things are going to, by then it's going to be cleared out how to do this. And so why is that talked about so much? I mean, that's going to kind of explain itself once this thing is launched and once these things are in your hand and once you have the system in front of you. I mean, there'll be instructions on that, on what to do to bring the card over someone's house and how to get your games on there. I guess you bring your controller and all your games are on there. And then when you bring it back home, you'll find out then what how that's done. So why is that such a concern? What should be a bigger concern is the lifeline of this company. By now we're pretty convinced. Oh yeah, we're pretty convinced that this thing is coming out. I mean, there's not a. He even said there's going to be a release date named, called out soon. So within weeks or a month or something. So the only thing that wasn't clear on that is that Tommy said Q1 of 22. So, I mean, what I didn't get clear after I saw it again, or even the first time, is and then he said something about the founders are definitely going to get theirs before. So, and he didn't want to go too much into the date, but this could, this wouldn't be a problem if this is what happened. Is it Q1 of 22 when the founders are going to get it and the pre-orders? And it's not going to actually launch until maybe a few months later after that? Or even as far as 10/10 of 22? Or was he saying that the Q1 of 22 is the launch date? The actual launch date, and the founders would get it before that? Which, at this point, I don't think the founders will get it before the year ends, by December or January. But, so that's the only thing that wasn't clear on the release date. Was Q1 of 22 the release date for founders and pre-orders? Is that what he meant? Because that Extra Slope didn't clear that up with him. What he meant by Q1 of 22. Did he mean the actual launch and founders will get it before? Because Q1 is the first 4 months. We all know this is the first 4 months of 22. So if it's in Q1 of 22, that would be by April. Well, no later than May, right? So that's what wasn't clear about the release date. But getting back to the cards and the controllers being the uniqueness of this system. Now, I don't have any knowledge on this. It hasn't been asked. I haven't heard anyone talk about it with Tommy or anyone. Is the patents. What exactly are the patents on the controllers and the card system? The way the FRD cards are going to work. Is that a patent to where Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox find out, hey, you know what, this is working for Amico. Let's say Amico releases and these controllers are selling it, are the selling point, and because of the coach co-op, you know, play, and the cards are working out, and they're a lot less to produce, and they can maybe lower their cost of games. So at what point can the big three, we'll just say, at what point can the big three make a similar controller? Maybe the one thing I may have heard is the patent might be on the rotating wheel. That might be a patent. To what extreme is that a patent? Like, how close can another company like Sony or Nintendo make a similar controller on their existing systems, and make you know, with updates, make them capable of using a similar controller? As far as the cards go, that would probably be the next generation of systems. Like, it could be as soon as the next models of Xbox Series X and PS5. We just don't, I mean, when it gets to the patents, I don't know how that works. But how come no one's asking about the patents? You know, the exclusivity is why, I don't know if I'm trying to say it right, but the patents, like on the controllers and on that card system. I mean, let's say the Amico releases, you know, by mid-22, the actual launch to where you can go to GameStop and Walmart and it's on the shelves, Best Buy or whatever. And Tommy reaches, you know, with advertising commercials. I want to mention again the little Amico thing at the end. I hope Tommy knows I mentioned that. Definitely keep that in for the children and the mothers. When you you know, see the end of the commercial and you see the Amico with the C and the O at the end turn into two eyes, that is cute as hell. And that's a selling point to grab, you know, more like females and kids, you know. But I'd like to, this is the more concern for me than the flimsy boxes that other people talk about, the wear, and they're going to fall apart. Tell me about the patents, like if, what exactly is patented on, you know, on this? As far as one of the big three, or all the big three, see that the Amico is, you know, it launches and it's doing very well. And the strong points of it are because of the cost of the games and because the card system is, people are catching on with it and they like it, or the controllers are the big selling point, obviously, with the screen, and where, you know, you can play games like Dolphin like that and multiplayer games. So what if those companies want to steal that action and make it for either their existing systems or their next systems? Where do you draw where's the line drawn on the patents on as far as having the screen, the touch screen on the controller, the dial, and the card system? So I know nothing about that. That'd be a bigger concern to me, because that would say the life of the Amico could be shorter if the big three offer the same stuff on bigger, you know, not better games, but bigger games. And, you know, like Tommy said, they got billions of dollars to, I mean, I don't know where that goes. I hope we get an answer about something like that. And then, I mean, that's the biggest thing I wanted to mention tonight. This is why I did the video. But there's gonna Tommy also mentioned in Boston, Mass. He's gonna announce in a couple weeks that they're gonna have another event, which being about an hour and a half away from me, I plan on attending. And I'm not, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but Atari Creep lives in Mass, I believe, somewhere in Mass, I believe, and Saggy, I believe, lives somewhere in Mass. So, I mean, I hope to see them there if I attend, which I do plan on attending, and I'm sure they do too. So, and then I can get my hands on it and see what I think, like before it launches. And I mean, I have like easy expectations that it's for me already, but to play it wouldn't hurt. But anyway, that's all I wanted to really talk about is the controller and the card system. And what No Swear Game was talking about the boxes. You got to take out the cards every time you want to play. I mean, just keep the cards out and put your stuff on the shelf. I mean, that's nitpicking, if you ask me, but no offense. So that's about it. And then I said I was going to show some of my pickups from the Retro World in Hartford, Connecticut, the expo. So I think I'm done talking about this. I mean, the only other thing I wanted to say is I'm wearing a Kiss shirt. So I hope Tommy's not mad at me that it's not, if he sees this, I hope he doesn't get mad it's not Aerosmith. But I did go to 2 concerts back in the day in Springfield, Mass, Aerosmith. I've never been to a Kiss concert, but I like their, I grew up on Kiss. So, and by the way, I want to do one more shout out to Glenn's Retro Show. I could have sworn I walked by him, but he was with his partner and he was filming him, and I kind of walked by him and I was gonna say something to him, but it seemed like he was getting followed by the camera guy. And he was interviewing people. You can see his video on YouTube. It's a great video. He spoke to many of the bigger guns there, like Metal Jesus, Pat the Nest Punk. He spoke to several people. He went around. They got some good footage. I recommend you watch that video on Glenn's Retro Show. I looked for me on the video, and I told him I was wearing a Toys R Us vest. And he says, "Oh, you should have." I mentioned that I walked by him, and he's like, "Oh, you should have stopped me. I would have talked to you." And I told him, I said, the best thing I enjoyed about it was the conversations. At the time I walked by him, it didn't seem like a time I could stop him for a conversation, but he said it would have been. But anyway, what's his name was there too. He's from Connecticut, the one with the Nintendo car, Russ Lyman, big YouTuber, good YouTuber, I should say. I spoke with him, and I grabbed some stickers from there. I wish I got them all, but I also met Discart. He's a great channel on YouTube that shows people's collections and game rooms. And I spoke with him for a little while, had a little conversation with him while we were watching Russ Lyman do the remote control cars with his wife. Congratulated them on their getting married. And then there was, I don't know where I got this one. It says the Only True Gamers podcast. Who was that? Oh, and then I met the other guys too. I mean, watch Glenn's video, and you'll see all the guys that I'm talking about. And then there was a vendor called Guerrilla Games, and there was many more there. This is just what I grabbed. Phantom Arcade. I don't know if that was the who supplied the arcade games there to play, free play. I wish I played more games too. I didn't even play money games because I kept walking around and having long conversation. And then this is Vinegar Syndrome is a movie company because my son collects movies. And they had a booth there because they're from down in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And I already gave my son the movie. It was New York Ninja, it was called. The movie was called New York Ninja. I don't know who's familiar with it, but it's one of those, you know, like these kind of movies with the cool cover art and everything. So shout out to them. And then this man right here, 8-Bit Steve, I met, and I had a great conversation with him, took a picture with him, is the Easy Way, right? He, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jeff from Hagen's Books. He got some help from him to produce his book, and this is the book I was talking about. The Friday the 13th Nintendo game. How to beat Friday the 13th on Nintendo. Everyone knows it's notorious for being a tough game to know, you know, how to get around. But it's by 8-Bit Steve. Great guy. I mean, he said okay, here's another thing I want to mention. Now, I spoke to a guy like this, right? Who made this book, right? It's a hardcover book. Nice book, and he has a series of other books. He's got Jaws in paperback, this size. There was a couple other games too that he had available. He had Jaws and but he was also doing a Ninja Gaiden, and we were talking about that. What do you call it? Gaiden or Gaiden or Gaiden? You know what I mean? So that was part of the conversations I talked about. So anyway, he got Jeff from Hagen's Books to do this. I met Jeff. He wasn't there, but his guys were there. But I have about 6 of his books, and they're all good quality books. $20 for this book. It came with a bag too, like a strap bag. Great book. I mean, I'm opening it right now. I started tearing the bottom for you guys to get it open easier. And he asked me, are you maybe not going to even bother opening it? And I'm like, no. I'm definitely going to open it. I just wanted to keep it sealed to protect it. But I mean, I looked at the one he had on display. I didn't look at it too much, but from what I saw, I liked what I saw. So there's all these nice pictures in here and screenshots of the areas and stuff and information on the characters. So this will go right in my book collection in my game room. Quality pages, like I said. You know, they're nice thick pages, nice color, nice print, you know, like that. So, yeah, so great book. I recommend it. That's his card if you want to freeze it. If you want to pick one up online, contact him by email, I think he said. It's called The Easy Way, and his name is 8-Bit Steve. I think, if I remember right, he's from like Michigan or something like that. So I mean, yeah, very cool book, very cool. And again, like I said, I don't want to say his name wrong, but I think it's Jeff Winterhausen or something like that. I'm sure some of you have heard of his books. They're called Hagen's Books. They're on. You can Google it. And he's on Facebook too. But yeah, beautiful book. A+ on that. And then really all I picked up was the movie for my son, the book for me, and then like I said, I picked up a couple magazines. This is like a GameStop store that may have been in. We didn't have them here, Captron. I mean, I heard of it back in the day, but we didn't have these stores here in my area. But this one appears to be from like 1994. So it shows Sega CD in here, Turbo Duo for you, DJC, the TurboGrafx, and you know, and it's in good condition. Super Nintendo games. You know, it's just one of those. It's like it's a catalog. That's what it is. It's a catalog, and I thought that was cool because I collect paperwork, like I told you guys, like I mentioned before. So I collect, you know, like magazines and catalogs and paperwork that I'd never, and I've been collecting for a long time, and I've never come across this certain one. So glad to grab that. And then this magazine, again, what I was going to say about these two things right here, right? The book and this. Now, this is where I skipped ahead. Now, when I was talking to 8-Bit Steve about this book, he was telling me about all the time he put into it and all the preparation to get it printed, picking out the artwork, picking out the style of the pages, the layouts. So I mean, by the end, you know, he sweated his ass off to get this book out. You know, I guess it's one of his favorite games, so he chased his dream, and some people do that. I mean, he's probably not, you know, he's not making $1 million off this. He did it out of his heart more. But yes, I mean, he's got to make some money back because it costs money to do this stuff. Now, just think of Tommy and Amico. I mean, Tommy, we know, has already been successful with music and in the video game industry. But just think of the people that work for him, that are trying to get the Amico out. Think of all the complications with that compared to just, you know, a book where this guy said, you know, he sweated blood and tears just to get this book out. So you could see how much work you know, a small company like Amico's doing to try and get that out. And then same with this. I thought this was pretty interesting. Out of all my years of collecting paperwork and magazines, I've never come across this. I've looked into it, Googled it, eBay, numerous sites, and I can't find any information on this. But it seems like it's also around that time, 1995. It covers video games, retro games, comics, cards, and toys. Right? It's black and white pages, like printed pages, but it's laid out very nicely. You know, it ain't EGM Game Pro, but it was again someone trying to do this from their heart. I mean, you know, and they were trying to make a small company, you know.